Well, in a letter to state leaders, the New York Farm Bureau is now pushing for the Department of Environmental Conservation, or DEC, to back certain pesticide regulations. This comes after a recent bill passed the state assembly banning a pesticide that is used on various crops. Mackenzie Mislin joins us now in studio with what farm organizations across the state are asking for as part of this. Mackenzie?
Yes, Natalie, the pesticide neonicotinoid is used on this corn, soybean, and wheat crops to protect them. Those with the New York Farm Bureau say if this pesticide is banned, farmers will actually have to use more pesticides for protection.
Jeff Williams is the director of public policy for the New York Farm Bureau. He says farmers need this pesticide to kill off pests and produce their crops.
The neonicotinoid pesticides are really incredibly important to farms in controlling pests on farms. And the federal EPA and the state's DEC are right now in charge of whether farmers can use these pesticides and how they can use them.
State Senator Brad Hoylman-Siegel and Assemblymember Deborah Glick sponsor the bill on the pesticide called the Birds and Bees Act. They say beekeepers in New York State have lost more than 40% of their bee colonies almost every year for the last decade and believe the pesticide is to blame. The act bans the sale, distribution, and purchase of neonic-treated seeds for corn, soybean, and wheat crops. The pollinator species our bill protects are integral to our ecosystem and the state's agricultural industry.
Seed treatments were created to minimize the use of pesticides on farms, and so they'll have to go back, use tons more pesticides to try to protect their crop. Use a lot more diesel fuel in their tractors to do so, and take up some other farming practices, revert to them that will impact climate change and global warming.
However, Williams says studies from the Department of Agriculture markets don't show these pesticides being the main reason for bee loss, citing the Department of Agriculture's study showing 90% of bees died to varroa mites in 2016. He says if farmers are banned from using neonicotinoid, it will only cause them to revert back to previous methods, which would be even less environmentally friendly.
Williams says the corn and soybean crops are used for dairy feed, and without the pesticide, it could put dairy production in jeopardy as well. Coming up at 6, we'll hear more about the Birds and Bees Act and factors contributing to bee loss. Natalie?
All right, Mackenzie, thanks for that report. Also highlighted in this letter, the State Farm Bureau notes this pesticide being among the safest for the environment in general. Officials add this technology will help to limit pesticide exposure to any pollinators.